参った。泣けか。
ありえねえ、食事と会話の真最中に。しかも続きを噛み始めたぞ。
Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. This time we have part 2 of our OP14-EB04 set review. Just a reminder, the OP14 set is coming out soon and it has 3 or about half of the EB04 cards in it as well. So we will have the purple cards this week and we'll go over those first. And then we'll go over the rest of OP14. Without further ado, let's kind of just hop into it. First up, we have the 7-cost 9,000 power no counter, Kaido, with if this character would be KO'd, you may return 1 Dawn card from your field to your Dawn deck instead. So the same protection ability as Sanji, just only protecting from KO, not from other types of removal. And then he has on play, Dawn -2. If your leader has the Animal Kingdom Pirates type, this character gains Rush during this turn. Then set up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 7, or then rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 7 or less. So this one feels pretty similar to the 9-drop one from the original ST set, just with a protection ability, and then more conditional. Well, no, this is about the same, because the 9K body is a lot of times going to be able to kill whatever you rest with it. The original one could just outright KO a 6-cost, if I remember correctly. But interesting to see this pop up as just an alternative to that. Moving on to the next card, we have King, who's a 6-cost 7,000 power no counter with if this character would be KO'd, you may return 1 Dawn from your field to your Dawn deck instead. So the same protection ability. And then it has activate main once per turn. If your leader has the Animal Kingdom Pirates type and you have no other King cards, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active, and add up to 1 additional Dawn card and rest it. So he's a ramp 2 at the, with no kind of expense. I think this is a pretty great card. This is exactly the kind of thing that allows the Kaido leader to really leverage the leader ability, OP or ST04 Kaido. If I wasn't being clear, this is a solid ramp card. Getting you 2 Dawn every turn is big, and there's no other restriction other than being Animal Kingdom Pirates and not having other kings. So this is quite strong. I think this is going to be real great for that leader. Moving on to the next one, we have an alt art for it. Ooh, that's fun. This is a pretty alt art. This is, fun fact, this was actually one of the cards that spoiled the Lunarian appearance before it came out in the anime. The original King leader, one of the original King alt arts had him without his helmet on before he'd been seen without his helmet in the anime. Great card though. Next up, we have a 1-cost 1,000 power 1K counter Queen with on play. You may trash 1 Animal Kingdom Pirates type card from your hand to draw 2, and then activate main once per turn. You may rest 2 of your Dawn cards. If your leader has the Animal Kingdom Pirates type, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and rest it. So this is kind of like more copies of Onigashima. I really like this card for the Animal Kingdom Pirates. Notably, we only have 3 Animal Kingdom Pirates leaders that would work with this. We have original purple Kaido, we have blue purple Kaido from OP01, and we have black purple King from, and there's the regular King leader. Yeah, so there's actually quite a few different leaders who all can take advantage of this. So this would be interesting to see if any of them can pop up. I think the original Kaido has the best angle, but being able to have more copies of Onigashima, even if you have to pay 2 Dawn to use it every turn, I think it's going to be really good because you can make a lot of use. And then you have Black Maria that came out in OP08. So there's a lot of ways to recur a lot of Dawn in the decks. It'll be interesting to see. Next up, we have Garagi Monsters, who's a 5-cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter with on play, Dawn -1. If you have 3 or more Foxy Pirates type characters, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 6,000 base power or less. So removal for Foxy Pirates is pretty interesting. Based on the original Foxy leader, though, having 3 Foxy Pirate type characters is not trivial. Luckily for this guy, he would count as your 3rd. So it's probably a little more reasonable to do. But this is not a trivial thing to get, and there will be times where he is has no ability because of it. So yeah. Moving on to the next one, we have this Charlotte Pudding, 2-cost, 1k power, 1k counter with blocker, and on your opponent's attack once per turn, you may trash 1 card from your hand. If you have 4 or more events in your trash, up to one of your leader or characters gains 2,000 power during this battle. So this is a blocker that lets you trash events in the Sanji deck, I think is the intended home for this one. Although it doesn't specify anything about Sanji, so it could also be pretty good in 4 or more event cards in your trash. I could see being good in Blue Purple Crocodile, maybe. Or you could run it in any of the Big Mom Pirates purple leaders, just as another searchable blocker that, if you have enough events, can churn the remaining events through. They have the purple Big Mom Pirates events that ramp that I think are quite good, but they really lose their luster late in the game. So this would be a great way of getting rid of some extras of those style of cards. But yeah, I think this is going to be solid, particularly in Sanji though. After that, we have Hitokiri Kamazo, who's a 3-cost, 4,000 power, 1k counter with blocker, and your turn, once per turn, when a Dawn card from your field is returned to your Dawn deck. If your leader has the Kid Pirates type, add up to 1 Dawn from your deck and rest it. So another version of this effect, the red-purple kid from ST10 loves this. He has a Dawn -1, and you have multiple of these effects, then you actually are ramping with it. And it makes for a really effective thing. I think this makes the 3rd copy of this style of effect for that deck. So I think that that's probably hitting a pretty good critical mass to make these viable. After that, we have Foxy. He is an 8-cost, 9,000 power, no counter, with on play, Dawn -1. If your leader is the Foxy Pirates type, draw 2 cards and then trash 1 from your hand. Then rest up to one of your opponent's characters at a cost of 9 or less. And then activate main once per turn, add up to 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck and rest it. So this is actually pretty big for Foxy. You get to rest one of their 9 or less characters. One of the ways you could disrupt Foxy's ability to kind of freeze your guys is just not swinging with them, or some other way restanding them. And this allows you to, on the turn they play something out, not even get that first swing with it by resting it. And then it has the classic activate main, add 1 Dawn text that is seen on a good number of Foxy Pirate cards, so that your leader ability stops costing you Dawn to use. So I think this is going to be really solid. I don't know how it compares to the power reduction Foxy. I think that it's probably pretty close on which one you would want to go with more. Probably you run both, but I don't know if you run 4 of each. But great card. He also gets a nice alt art using that slow beam. Yeah. After that, we have Porsche, who's a 1-cost, 2,000 power, 1k counter with on play. If your leader has the Foxy Pirates type, look at the 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal one Foxy Pirates type, and add it to your hand. Then place the rest of the bottom of your deck in any order. So pretty standard searcher here. Notably, it looks like you don't have to whiff if you hit only other Porsches, which is important because one of the key cards in the Foxy deck is that Porsche from OP07. So not being cut off from those searches is actually pretty good. After that, we have Rosinante and Law. It's a 6-cost, 8,000 power no counter with, under the rules of the game, treat this card's name as Trafalgar Law and Don Quixote Rosinante. Then it has Blocker with, on play, if the number of Don cards on your field is equal to or less than the number on your opponent's field, draw 1 card. Then add up to 1 Don card from your Don deck and set it as active. So I think this is pretty neat. I don't know if it makes the Rosinante leader strong enough, but this is definitely in the right direction. Having more law cards that are big bodies, giving you some ways to win the game with. I think that was somewhat difficult with the Rosinante leader is, even though you could protect your guys, you a lot of times were having to play some kind of middling early game bodies. And so 6 cost for 8,000 is a pretty efficient way of both getting a big enough attacker to meaningfully be a top end, but also being cheaper, especially with Rosinante's ability, letting you summon this out early. So I think this is pretty good for that deck. Another thing that I've been considering doing, but I have not pulled the trigger yet, is looking at a very law-heavy build of blue-purple Crocodile, making use of the promo law and the law support, or the Rosinante support, as a way of getting some active Dawn for using for events. And there also happens to be a fair number of good hand size attacking law abilities, meaning that you can use hand attack plus your Voltron leader to be your way to progress the game. And then I think this might fit in there. We also get a nice alt art here as the last one of the final moments for Law and Rosinante. So great to see this moment captured in a card. After that, we have the Eustace Captain Kidd, 7 cost, 8,000 power, no counter, with on play. Add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. And then activate main. You may trash this character. Play up to 1 Kid Pirates type character with a cost of 5 or less from your hand. So this one is interesting. I think the piece that I like the most about it is that you get to actively, ramp an active Dawn on 7 while establishing this body. The play out a Kid Pirates type card is a little more unknown to me. I guess this is designed to be something that if you don't think you're going to be able to defend it, you can just play out something else that won't be arrested. But this one here is definitely not my. I don't know exactly how this second ability would play out. Moving on to our events for the EB set, we have first up our 1 cost event main. You may rest 6 of your Dawn cards, so 7 total. Up to 1 of your Kaidos gains 3,000 power during this turn. Then rest up to 1 of your opponent's characters. That's a pretty good way of getting around a blocker and getting a very potent attacker. And then it has a counter, Dawn -1. Your leader gains 4,000 power during this battle. So it's just Blast Breath. And actually, because Blast Breath, to my memory, does not have a trigger, this is actually just a strict upgrade to Blast Breath because you get this other ability tacked on. Next up, we have Stealth Black, which is a 3 cost event with main if your leader is Sanji, And if you have 4 or more Dawn cards on your field, play up to 1 Sanji with 6,000 power or less from your hand or trash. And then trigger, draw 2 cards and trash 1 card from your hand. So this is actually pretty great. One of the things that was always tough for Sanji is finding the correct time to deploy your Sanji characters, because they are using up 3 of your Dawn, which is sometimes hard to do in the early game when you're trying to spend your Dawn in other ways. And then alternatively, it also was a brick. So when you didn't find time for it, it was stuck in your hand. So now you have, with some of your other ways of discarding it, you can choose to discard it to some benefit on a different card, and then call it back out with this event, which also happens to be a Straw Hat Crew event, costs 3 or less, which means that for a Dawn -1 you can cast it. So this really kind of makes getting Sanji on the board significantly easier in the deck, and I'm actually quite excited to see how this one plays out, because there's a lot to like about this this card for Sanji in particular. It's even got a pretty decent trigger. If you already have 1 Stealth Black and a Sanji in hand, you can also use the trash mode off of the trigger to set up the second one, which is pretty neat. All right, now moving on to the main set, we have our first leader. We have Don Quixote do Flamingo, who's a purple leader. He's got 5,000 power, 5 life, with on your opponent's attack, once per turn, Dawn -1, select up to select your leader or one of your Don Quixote Pirates type characters, change the attack target to the selected card. So this is very similar to Okama, but it is a little bit different. In Okama, you could select any type of character as long as your leader was the appropriate type for Okama. So I do think this is a strong ability, but I don't think it is quite as broken as what Okama enabled. So just something to keep in mind. It will be strong, but there are limitations on here that were not on Okama that kind of limited the scope of the card. Moving on to the alt art, again with this OP06 style, is he using his tongue to pull a string here? That's an interesting detail that I'm just noticing now. I'm not sure if that's the case, or if this, because it looks like it lines up with his tongue. Or it's probably, now that I'm seeing it here, it's probably just a glint off of his sunglasses. But that's a fun idea. I know that it's now my headcanon for what is going on in this card. Up next we have Virgo. He's a 5-cost, 7,000 power, no counter, with once per turn. If your Don Quixote Pirates type character would be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, you may return 1 Dawn card from your field to your deck instead. This is removed, so this is the same as Sanji's protection ability, but only for Don Quixote Pirates and only once per turn. So this is pretty solid, though, because that's one of the things that can always harm these purple decks, is having key cards kind of removed. So being able to protect one a turn is actually pretty strong. And then it also has, when attacking, Dawn -1, give up to one of your opponent's characters -2,000 power during this turn. Good kind of board clearing ability. I don't know if I haven't seen enough of this set yet to know if there's any synergy with specifically -2,000 power. But this is going to be good for board clearing nonetheless. Also to note, this is a 5-cost, which means you can play it off of the OP10 Doflamingo, the one that plays in a 5-cost off of it. So that's pretty great place to be. After that, we have the alt art for it. I don't remember if Virgo has any good alt art, so this is fun to see him get at least one. Next up, after that, we have Gladius. He's a 3-cost, 4,000 power, 1k counter with on KO Dawn -1. KO or rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a base power of 6,000 or less. So all of these on KO abilities are going to be extra good in this Don Quixote archetype because your leader can redirect attacks into them. Being a Don -1 means you're going Don -2 to use this ability, which is probably worth it because you're getting to get out of an attack and remove potentially a second attack. So it's probably worth it, but is definitely something to be on the lookout for because that is a lot of Don minus on your opponent's turn. So it'd be probably pretty easy to fall below 10 Don in this deck. After that, we have Sugar. 4 cost, 1,000 power, 1k counter. With on play, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. And then on KO, if your opponent has 6 or more Dawn cards on their field, play up to 1 Don Quixote Pirates type character card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand. Ooh, so this one's kind of interesting. You use it to ramp, obviously, and then on your opponent's turn, if they are far enough into the game, if they're not playing purple, then it's probably just a turn timer where you get to play out a different 5 cost for this. Because you're using the Dawn -1 to play this out, it's not for no cost at all, but this is a pretty strong ability to have on the Okamawe style redirect. It doesn't have block or anything on its own, so your opponents will never really swing into it, even with their searchers. There's just no good opportunity to search into this. You won't have it rested at a time when they can swing into it with their searchers. But I think this is a pretty solid card. I think the biggest limiting factor is your inability to redirect into it in a way that doesn't compete with the rest of your deck. I feel like that's probably going to be one of the limiting factors in this deck, is you only have so many ways to redirect and so many targets, and there will be times when this one's just not worth redirecting towards, especially because this comes out of your hand. So it puts you down a card when you use it. Next up, we have Giola. 3 cost, 1,000 power, 1k counter. On KO, add up to 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck and rest it. Then KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a base power of 0. This is really interesting because I wonder if this is future-proofing, because we don't have any base power 0. Oh, base power. Base power. Okay, so these are, interestingly, these are power, but they are base costs. So they do not synergize with Virgo's thing, but this will be able to KO a good number of different searchers or chump blockers. So actually a reasonable ability because it's base power. I thought it was base cost, and we don't have any of those yet. But yeah, moving on to the next card, we have Senior Pink. 4 cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter. On KO, if your opponent returns 1 Dawn card from their field to their Dawn deck. This one's really interesting. You get that Magellan effect, which is quite effective against Emu. Putting them off of 10 Dawn means that they don't get to play their Elders on time. Notably, you need just the first one to get out of their first thing. In an effect, because your opponents can't really risk swinging into you and losing out on their Elder effect a lot of times, you are essentially getting a free turn of no attacks by playing this guy out, because they can try to play around him on a future turn, but that specific turn where they want to go to 10 Dawn exactly, this can be a pretty important way of stopping that. After that, we have a Vanilla Diamante, 6 cost, 8,000 power. And then we have Dellinger, 1 cost, 2,000 power, 1k counter. On KO, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and rest it. Then look at the top 5 of your deck, reveal up to 1 Don Quixote Pirates type card and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So this is kind of a funky searcher. It doesn't search right away, but it does search when you use your Dawn -1. So it's gets you out of an attack and then does a search to find you more cards. So pretty neat. After that, we have Treble, 5 cost, 5,000 power, 2k counter this time. Opponent's turn, once per turn, when a Dawn card on your field is returned to your Dawn deck. If your leader has a Don Quixote Pirates type, add up to 1 card from your Dawn deck and rest it. So the only card I can think of that works similarly to this is actually the OP04 Crocodile Leader ability. So this will just be a great card for the deck, really mitigating your the downside of using your leader ability every turn. Probably pretty key card. Being only a 5,000 power and 5 cost means it is a little susceptible to removal, so keep that in mind. Your opponents will probably try to remove it before doing any swings, so you might not get value out of it, and you just need to make sure that you are aware of that risk. After that, we have our 10-drop Dofi, 10 cost, 10,000 power, no counter, with on play, Dawn -3, choose 1. If your leader has the Don Quixote Pirates type, KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 8 or less, or up to 3 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 7 or less cannot be rested until the end of your opponent's next end phase. So this will turn off blockers. This is pretty important against maybe an Emu. You can turn off their 2 blockers and use a big swing, although capped because you are spending all of your Dawn. But you do get a swing through their blockers, meaning they have to rely on their life or their hand to tank the hit, which, especially if you can chain a couple of these, could actually be pretty effective. Also, it has just a KO mode for other decks. So yeah, I think there's quite a bit to like here. I wonder if this would get to see play in the Sugar deck. And we also have actually green-purple Doflamingo as well. So there's 3 different leaders who can all take advantage of this. Notably, though, the freeze mode is not leader locked. So you can use that freeze mode and the double blocker freeze as in any purple deck, which is pretty interesting. We also get an alt art here, another great Dofi art. He's such a neat character, and always snazzes up whatever card he is on. Alright, next after that we have Buffalo. So 2 cost, 1,000 power, 1k counter with when this character becomes rested by your opponent's character's effect, you may return 1 Dawn card from your field to your Dawn deck. If you do, set this card as active. Oh, interesting. So he's like a blocker that's hard to rest out. That does work pretty nicely against Mihawk, I think, just as a way of preventing them from icing out your blocker. Yeah, this one's kind of interesting. I don't know that you want to play a ton of these, but maybe against Mihawk, you could use this. Or if Carrot comes back, that could be another deck that you could want to use this against. After that, we have Pika, 5 cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter. End of your turn, if your leader has a Don Quixote Pirates type, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. So this one, actually, I like this one specifically for Sugar, because it is an active Dawn at the end of your turn, which is great for using events with. Yeah, I think that this is a pretty reasonable card for Sugar. Also, it's going to be great in the Purple Doflamingo, but I do think that there's something to be watched for the other purple leaders. After that, we have Baby 5, 4 cost, 1,000 power, 1k counter, with on play, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active, and then on KO, Dawn -1, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards. So this is now our I think second purple heal card. It is once again not leader locked. That said, the on KO Dawn -1 is going to be really difficult to deal with in any other leader. I think it's pretty much pseudo leader locked by just not having a good way of redirecting to it. The only other way you can really redirect to it reliably would be the yellow-purple crocodile, funny enough, and use Okamawe, the original version of the effect. So definitely one to watch for that deck, potentially, because it's not leader locked. The leader locking, because they learned their lesson with Moria, that you can't give too much of this wide openness for this style of effect. But pretty interesting. We'll see how this one plays out. I'll definitely be playing Crocodile this set, and we'll see how it goes. We also get a nice alt art here. Robin sporting her, probably her most famous outfit. And yeah, great. Next up we have Miss Golden Week, a 1-cost 2,000 power 2k counter with on KO, draw 2 cards and trash 2 cards. So this is actually a really solid card for churning through your deck. If you need to find a particular thing, you can play this out for 1 and then immediately KO it with your leader. Yeah, that's a lot of lot of churn that you can do with this, which is usually quite effective, especially when you have a deck that cares about using the trash with that Miss All Sunday. I think this is a very solid 2K. After that, we have Miss Double Finger, 5-cost 6,000 power, 1k counter with, if you have 7 or more cards in your trash, this character gains 1,000 power, and all of your characters with a type including Baroque Works gain +2 cost. Yeah, so this is just a pretty solid attacking body. You get some protection ability for all of your guys, and you get a vanilla stat line. So yeah, pretty solid, I think. As a middle of the game kind of card to just get played out. After that, we have Miss Valentine, 1-cost 2,000 power, 1k counter with on play. If your leader includes Baroque Works, look at the top 4 from your deck, reveal a card with Baroque Works other than Miss Valentine and add it to your hand, then trash the rest. So interesting that they added in the Miss Valentine text. I do wonder if they're going to do a black and purple Baroque Works leader in the future, because you don't get to chain them, which I guess is a reasonable thing. But the other Miss Valentine does not have this restriction. So it'll be interesting to see how this this plays out. The other thing that this does is it trashes the rest, which can be really important for Miss All Sunday. So good to see a good searcher in the deck. After that, we have Miss Merry Christmas, 1-cost 2,000 power, 2k counter with on KO if your leader's type includes Baroque Works, draw 1 card, and KO up to one of your opponent's stages with a cost of 1. So a little bit of stage removal. I'm curious which stage they intend to be the target with this, or if this is just going to be a 2k all the time. Definitely one to watch though, because stages have shown themselves to be potentially problematic in the case of Emu, but that one obviously costs 7. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. After that, we have the 3-cost 5,000 power no counter Ryuma with on KO, draw 2 cards and trash 2 cards from your hand, and then trigger, play up to 1 Thriller Bark type character with a cost of 4 or less from your trash rested. So I do think this is quite good. Just as a card you can play out off of other effects. Good trigger, good to KO potentially. You get your swing in with this guy first, and then you KO him to give the rest of your guys 1,000 power. This does feel like if this had a counter, this would be a super include, but without a counter, it's a little risky, but I do think that this one probably makes the cut in the Moria list. Next up, we have the 5-cost 6,000 power, 1k counter, Mr. One Das Bones. If there is a character with a cost of 0 or with a cost of 8 or more, this character can attack characters on the turn in which it was played. And on play, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 0. So more ways to use the 0 cost. If you sacrifice one of your early searchers, you can play this guy out and swing at whatever they've played down, which is quite effective. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a role. It's going to fill a role in the Croc deck for sure. We also get a nice alt art with this one. It's interesting how much simpler the designs seem in these older sets, but cool card. After that, we have Mr. 2 Bonclay, Bentham Bonclay. Well, yeah, that's a very long name. We'll just call him Mr. 2. He's a 4-cost 5,000 power 1k counter with on KO. Play up to one character card with a type including Baroque Works with a cost of 5 or less other than Bonclay from your hand or trash. So more cards that play out of your trash is going to be really important when you have to use your kind of early guys like the Vivi or something that has a pretty niche effect. There is a world in which you have to bring back another Vivi off of this Bonclay to get the abilities going. I could also see you playing out a Searcher potentially off of this guy, or just like we saw with Mr. 1, just play Mr. 1 or Miss Doublefinger. So lots of different cards you could potentially play off of him, while still getting at least probably one 5k swing, which is quite good. We also get an alt art. This is now at least the second alt art of Mr. 2 that he is depicted as Nami, which is fun. I like that note quite a bit. This time in his traditional outfit though, instead of in the Impel Down outfit. So I'm looking forward to running these in my deck. After that, we have a 4-cost 6,000 power no counter Mr. 3 Galino. With opponent's turn once per turn, if this character would be KO'd, you may place 3 cards from your trash at the bottom of your deck in any order instead. So this is a body you can summon out early. Your opponents are incentivized to swing into it, because it doesn't say by your opponent's effect. So you do get to use this in combat. And then he sticks to the board, because when they go to kill him, you just put some stuff back in the trash. Yeah, I think that he's going to be a solid card for your mid game, getting in some aggression. After that, we have Mr. 4, a 4-cost 5,000 power 1k counter with blocker, and on KO, add up to one character with a character card with a type including Baroque Works and a cost of 8 or less from your trash to your hand. Knowing the card that they are intending with this one is a little bit of a cheat for the people who have not paid attention to the set yet. But this effect is going to be particularly important in the deck at getting back your key build around card for the Crocodile deck. So we'll get to that one in the future, but being on a blocker with on KO, you can either force activate it using your leader ability, or you can get it on a block, which both are great options for you. After that, we have Mr. 5. He's a 5-cost 6,000 power 1k counter with blocker, and on play, if there's a character with a cost of 0 or with a cost of 8 or more, draw 2 cards and trash 1 from your hand. So good way of filling your trash if you need something particular in trash to then play it out. Also, a 5-cost 6,000 power blocker is a pretty standard and efficient stat line. Moving on, we have Mr. 9. He's vanilla 2k at 5 cost. Actually, with the way that some of the other ones have worked, this might just be a card that makes the cut. These vanilla 2Ks don't always make the cut, but being a searchable 2K with this 5 cost, so it comes off of Mr. 2 is a pretty reasonable place to be. After that, we have our first event. We have Ground Death, which is a 1-cost event with main. You can rest 2 of your dump cards, negate the effect of up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less during this turn. Get rid of a blocker. Yeah, blocker is going to be your main way of using this, but there may be other ways that could be relevant as well. But it also has a counter event. If you have 10 or more cards in your trash, up to one of your leader or characters gains 4,000 during its turn. Unfortunately, this is also a very strong card in Emu, so it sucks that Emu is getting more 4K counters, but I am happy that Croc is getting it searchable. This one also gets a neat manga style event, which is looks really nice actually. Cool. After that, we have Hurry Up and Make Me the Pirate King, a 1-cost event with main. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 Thriller Bark Pirates type other than Hurry Up and Make Me the Pirate King, and add it to your hand. Then trash the rest. With trigger, activate this card's main effect. So this does work in both Morias and Perona, so don't sleep on that fact. But otherwise, just another good card for getting stuff in trash to be played off of your triggers. After that, we have Crescent Cutlass, a 1-cost event with main. If there's a character with a cost of 0 or with a cost of 8 or more, all of your characters with a type including Baroque Works gain +3 cost till the end of your opponent's next end phase. It's a good protection ability, and then it just has your standard leader gains 3,000 power, which is quite a good fallback for these style of events. After that, we have Disappointed, a 1-cost event with main. Look at the top 3 from your deck, reveal up to 1 card including Baroque Works other than Disappointed, and add it to your hand, then trash the rest. So very similar to the previous one we saw for Moria. Now we have one for Croc. With trigger, activate this card's main effect. Great place to be. Here is the man of the hour himself, the Crocodile. He gets one of the secret slots in the deck, or in the set. So we have this 8-cost, 10,000 power Crocodile with on play up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 9 or less cannot attack until the end of your opponent's next end phase. Then, if your opponent has a character with a cost of 0 or with 8 or more, draw 1 card. On KO, you may trash 1 card from your hand, play this character from your trash. So that's a lot of text. The main things, though, is you get to freeze one of their guys, and then if they happen to have a 0 from another source, you get to draw a card. And then you can use leader ability on this Crocodile. You get your on KO, you trash 1 card. You set one of their guys to 0. You play him back from trash. You freeze a second character. And because you just made something into a 0 cost, you get to draw a card. So effectively, this guy comes out, freezes 2 guys, and then in the future, you can at least lock down a single guy pretty much every turn just by having your first one of these. And for each additional Croc you play, you get to start freezing more of these. So lots to like about this card, and the kind of the core of the deck. And this is why the 8-cost or less recursion from Mr. 4 was so important, is because you get this guy back, which is a great place to be. Moving on to the alt art for him. Ooh, this one's, I do like this one quite a bit. Very gritty, pun intended, with this Crocodile. After that, we have our SPs. We have first up the 4-cost Perona. This is the 2K one from OP06. A great card. And I'm interested to see if this one sees a lot of play. Interestingly, being able to play it off of a trigger on your opponent's turn, you would get this effect, which I don't know how you would use the cost minus, but definitely the opponent trashes one from their hand, you can use on their hand, on their turn, in a way that's pretty neat. And that is it for the black cards. So let's go ahead and cycle over to yellow. All right, so first up we have our treasure rare for this set. We have the Don Quixote Rocinante Searcher from OP12. This is when he's forcing Law to eat the alpha fruit to help save himself, because he's been learning about his disease and the alpha fruit can help. Then getting into our first leader, we have Boa Hancock, one of the new menaces in the meta from what I've been hearing from Japan. She's a 5,000 power 4-life leader with opponent's turn. When you play a character, draw 1 card. So this mostly is going to work off of trigger, but there are a couple of ways you can play out cards on your opponent's turn. And drawing cards is pretty big in that situation. And then Dawn ×1 once per turn. When one of your Amazon Lily or Kuja Pirate type characters with 5,000 base power or more is KO'd, add up to 1 card from the top of your opponent's life cards to their hand. This is, I think, probably the more important of her 2 abilities, because your opponent is disincentivized from attacking into a lot of blockers or anything like that, because they will burn their own life with it without too much effect. So definitely an interesting dynamic there. Also, because Boa is a blue 7 Warlords character, you can run Perfume Femur and have big unblockable swings, meaning that your opponents really don't want to go to 0. So quite an effective game plan. We got a nice Altart here. Oak Moria, we already went over. First yellow character we have is Absalom. He is a 3-cost 5,000 power, no counter, with on KO, look at the top 3 from your deck, reveal up to 1 Thriller Bark Pirates type card, add it to your hand, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Also has a trigger of play out a from your trash a 4-cost or less Thriller Bark Pirate type. So that's actually quite an effective trigger. Another body that can be played out off of those triggers. And yeah, overall pretty good card. He also even gets a little bit of a searcher effect, which is great to see. Next up we have the 8-cost vanilla ores with the Thriller Bark and Giant types. After that we have Kumashi. It's a 2,000 power, 2,000 counter, 1k, 2k power with no abilities, but he has trigger. And the trigger is that good play out of 4 cost or less from your trash rested. So great trigger to have. After that we have Gloriosa, who is a 2-cost, 0 power, 1k counter. With on play, you may add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand. Add up to 1 card from your hand to the top of your life cards. So this is another version of Hiyori. And it is not leader locked, so that's interesting. More cards than for anyone who's already running Hiyori. It also, this one has a trigger of play this card. So stronger than Hiyori at the, well, Hiyori was a 2k, this one has a trigger, so that's the trade-off you make. But definitely a solid card for setting up triggers. After that we have the 8-cost 10,000 powered, no counter Gecko Moria. With on play, select up to 1 of your Thriller Bark Pirates type characters with a cost of 4 or less from your trash and play it, or add it to the top of your life cards face up. So this is not leader locked. Great to see this, and it is archetype locked though into Thriller Bark Pirates type. You have to be running enough characters with that type. But recalling that the characters that you're going to get out of life almost all have the same trigger. This is a pretty effective place to be. Yeah, I like this one quite a bit. One thing I haven't mentioned yet is there is a Robin list going around that runs the Thriller Bark Pirates, and I'm quite interested in seeing how that plays out, because I do think that is an interesting thing. Robin's leader ability, letting you put your first 4 cost or less into the trash, and then all of your triggers can summon it, is a pretty neat ability that not every leader has access to. Next up, we have the alt art for him. Yep, just more Hibbian himself. After that, we have the 6 cost 5,000 power 2k counter Gorgon Sisters. It has activate main once per turn. You may reveal 3 Amazon Lily or Kuja Pirate type cards from your hand. Give your leader and all of your characters up to 1 Rested Dawn card each. And then trigger, if your leader has the Kuja Pirates type, play this card. So this one I've heard is quite strong. And I guess if you have enough Amazon Lily Kuja Pirates type, this does represent kind of a 3 Dawn, extra Dawn a turn. And if your opponents kill it, then they are getting, taking a life anyways. So I guess on reflection, I can see that. All on top of it being a 2K. I guess there is a lot to like about this card. Yeah, I think this is quite strong. It is definitely leaning into a more aggressive angle than I originally expected, but I do see it now that I think about it. Next up we have is Salome, 3 cost, 1,000 power, 1k counter blocker with trigger, play this card. So notably, there is already a Boa Hancock that has essentially the same, all of the same stats here from ST03. That is the blue version of this. So being able to run both, they would both count towards your count for the Gorgon Sisters, and they would both draw you a card when you play them on your opponent's turn off of trigger. Next up we have Shakayaku, a 6 cost, 5,000 power, 2k counter with on play, if your opponent has 3 or less life cards, draw 2 cards and trash 2 cards from your hand. And then trigger, if your leader has the Kuja Pirates type, play this card. More cards that are going to draw you. In this case, it would draw you 3, 1 from leader ability, 2 from that, and trash 2, which is really good. Filter, also being a 2k. Yeah, another pretty good card. The 6 cost 5,000 power, obviously you really don't want to be stuck with all of your trigger cards in hand. So there is a brick potential with the deck, but I think that you will probably navigate it pretty well because I think almost all of your cards have trigger. After that we have Rayleigh, 6 cost 6,000 power 1k counter with on play, if your leader is multicolored and your opponent has 3 or less life cards, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 7,000 base power or less. Yeah, this is quite strong actually. This is 3 or less life cards is not trivial, especially with the 5 life leaders still being quite strong, but 3 or less is achievable, and I like that it's only multicolored leader locked, not what's it called? And it can't just be abused by 5 life leaders against 4 life leaders. It's a tool for the 4 life leaders and on their own. And then it's got a great trigger, just play its on play effect. Yeah, pretty solid card. Next up we have Sindri, 3 cost, 1,000 power, 1k counter blocker with trigger, play the Thriller Bark trigger is what I'll call it from now on. Just playing out a 4 cost or less from your trash rested. Quite strong. After that we have Dr. Hogback, same trigger ability as the other ones. 4 cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter with on KO, play up to 1 character with a cost of 4 or less, and a trigger other than Dr. Hogback from the trash. Yeah, you can activate this ability off of leader ability, and otherwise, yeah, I mean, I'm running out of words to say about this ability. This is a very strong set of abilities where you're just constantly having guys. It's hard for your opponents to fully clear your board. After that, we have the 4 cost 5,000 power 1k counter Perona. Same trigger as the rest with on play and on KO. Up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 6 or less cannot attack until the end of your opponent's next end phase. So nice freeze ability. I do like these freeze abilities that are pretty important in a meta where there's a lot of protection against removal. So freeze is one of the ways you can kind of remove a character from the game without fully removing it from the game. We also got a nice alt art for this Verona here. Yeah, great to see. After that, we have the 9 cost, 10,000 power Boa Hancock with on play. If your leader has the 7 Warlords of the Sea type, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards. Then add up to 1 card from the top of your opponent's life cards to their owner's hand. And trigger, play up to 1 character with 6,000 power or less and a trigger from your hand. So the obvious place to play this is Boa, where you get to burn 1 of their life, heal 1 life, and have a trigger on top of all of that. But one of the leaders that you might not immediately think of that is the 7 Warlords is the OP04 Crocodile. And he's always been in need of a good top end that was specific to him or whatever. So now this can be another card that you could potentially run in that deck. Yeah, great card otherwise. Also gets a nice alt art here. Yeah. After that, we have the 3 cost 5,000 power no counter Marguerite with on play. Look at the top 5 from your deck, reveal up to 1 Amazon Lily or Kuja Pirates type, add to your hand, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order, and trash 1 from your hand. So that's the downside for getting a 5 cost. If your opponent does KO this, they will take the life, so you get it back. The card advantage back in that sense. And then it also has a trigger of if your leader has the Kuja Pirates type, play this card. Another great to have a searcher, so you can kind of find your bigger bodies. All of your trigger bodies are reasonable, but I do think you will be underpowered if you don't find any of your bigger bodies, or you only draw trigger cards and all of your cards without the good cards without trigger end up in your life. There is a couple of ways this can go against you. This helps dig for one of the cards that you might need to finish the game. After that, we have Ran, who is a 4 cost 5,000 power 1k counter with activate main. Once per turn, give up to 1 rested on card to one of your Kuja Pirates type leader or character cards. And then trigger if your leader has the Kuja Pirates type, play this character. Good way of getting the Dawn on leader for that effect, because it's not for free. After that, we have Rindo, who's a 5 cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter. Opponent's turn, on KO, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards, then take 1 damage. So this one is an interesting card in that it gives you the life and then immediately triggers it. Because it uses the word damage, you will get to activate triggers off of whatever that card is. Meaning that if it is a character, you get to play it out, because almost all of the Kuja Pirates have this style thing. Another thing with this one is you don't have a leader lock on this. So because Crocodiles is on my mind, the yellow-purple Crocodile can Okama way into this, potentially giving you an interesting set of gameplay with that as well. You will not get this trigger. It won't be as effective in Crocodile, but otherwise this effect is still usable. After that, we have our first event for yellow, the 4 cost event, Salamander. It is a counter event with up to 1 of your leader or characters gains 2,000 power during this battle. Then play up to 1 Amazon Lily or Kuja Pirates type character with a cost of 4 or less from your hand. This is a way to guarantee your leader ability, the draw card off of play on their turn ability, and then it has its own trigger of draw 1 card. Interesting card here. I think this is a lot easier for your opponents to play around, so definitely this is potentially a trap. Just be wary when you play this one, that you are definitely signaling it when you hold up for done. You are definitely signaling your plans when you play it like this. After that, we have Brickbat, 1 cost event with counter up to 1 of your Thriller Park Pirates type leader or characters gains 3,000 power during this battle. And then trigger, the same standard Thriller Pirates trigger. After that, we have You'll Frighten Me, a 1-cost event with counter. If you have 2 or less life, up to 1 of your opponent's active characters cannot attack during this turn. So kind of like a Veggie style effect for a counter event, which is kind of interesting. We haven't seen this style just yet because it will not work to counter out of the current swing, but it will prevent a following swing. Also, it does not work against leaders, so against Boa, you're incentivized to swing with your characters first, and then your leader can't get You'll Frighten Me. And then it also has a trigger of play up to 1 character with a cost of with a power of 6,000 or less, and a trigger from your hand. So pretty reasonable there. Yeah, pretty good. Ooh, this one also gets a nice manga thing, and this one also is another well done impaneling. Yeah, I like the look at that quite a bit. After that, we have an SP for the OP14 Boa, the one that we just saw. It's definitely a new thing to be doing these cards as they're getting printed. I guess maybe this one would have been an SP in EB04 and vice versa, so that maybe that's their logic for doing it this way. But a very pretty card nonetheless. And then we've circled back around to our treasure rare. So that is all of the cards from the set. And I hope you guys are excited for this next set, because I think it's going to be a really interesting update to the meta. I personally will be playing Crocodile for sure, as well as Robin with the Thriller Bark Pirates type characters, and maybe I'll circle back to Yellow Purple Crocodile, because I feel like there's a good number of cards for that deck as well. But let me know in the comments what you guys want to play in this next set, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.